Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Omni Viewer, and welcome to Genre Bender's Obscurities and Flawed Gems, where we look at the best stuff you've never heard of. In the last episode, I spoke about Van Helsing, a movie that was sadly shunned in its time, but which seems to be gaining a new fandom ever since we saw some rather poor attempts to reboot the Universal Monster franchises elsewhere. Today, I'll be talking about its animated prequel that I bet most of you forgot existed. Van Helsing, The London Assignment.
So, remember how the live-action movie opens with Van Helsing finding and killing Edward Hyde in Paris, and how he mentions originally losing him in London? Well, The London Assignment is the story of how Van Helsing lost Edward Hyde in London. More specifically, it's about what Jekyll and Hyde were even doing in London, especially how their plans involve the Queen Mother herself, Queen Victoria.
The London Assignment is like most multimedia prequels. You don't have to see it to understand the main film, but if you do see it, it enhances the main experience. But does that mean it's good? Well, the short version is, if you like the main movie, there's no reason you won't like the prequel.
Tonally, it's like the movie in condensed form, but an effort has been made to give it an original plot with its own distinct moments, rather than just have it only rehash things from the movie in animated form. On that merit alone, The London Assignment justifies its existence better than most prequels do.
Effort really does seem to be the key word here, since The London Assignment is of a much higher quality than one would expect from a direct-to-video animated feature from 2004.
The animation blends 2D and 3D styles in a way that feels natural rather than jarring. The monster designs are effectively unsettling without being off-putting, and the voice acting is great. Hugh Jackman even came in to voice Van Helsing, taking time out of his schedule to participate.
See, it's stuff like how Hugh Jackman actually made time in his busy schedule to come back to voice the character for this feature that makes me think he would come back again if Universal asked him to do the sequel. But the real reason I want to talk about The London Assignment is because of how it treats the two-in-one character of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The London Assignment restores an aspect of the character which very few adaptations do. It restores the element of mystery.
This may come as a surprise to some of you, but the original book by Robert Louis Stevenson, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, is not a horror story, but a mystery. And that mystery is, what's the connection between Jekyll and Hyde?
That's right, folks. Revealing that Jekyll and Hyde are the same person was the twist at the end of the book. And as someone who has actually read that book, I can tell you that I'm not the least bit surprised most film adaptations have chosen to focus exclusively on that and throw out everything else.
Everything prior to the ending is not very good, and the finale which details Jekyll's struggle with Hyde is the best part, so it makes perfect sense why most movies choose to make that the focus, even if it does render the book pointless as a result.
So what The London Assignment does is take that mystery element and put it back into the story.
I don't mean that it treats the connection between Jekyll and Hyde as a mystery. That would be silly. The mystery instead comes from what Jekyll and Hyde are doing with Queen Victoria and how they're doing it. Now, granted, the mystery isn't exactly Sherlock Holmes. Heck, it's not even Scooby-Doo. But it still acts as a nice nod to an element of the source material which has long been lost in the shuffle.
Beyond that, though, there's not much more to say about Van Helsing: The London Assignment. As I already mentioned, if you enjoy the live-action movie, you'll probably enjoy the animated prequel too. Heck, you may just want to see it anyway. After all, how many short animated features out there combine steampunk action with supernatural horror? Actually, I know of another short animated feature that does. But that'll be saved for the next episode of this series. Until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer, signing off.
La Santa Pistola de Agua.
The holy water pistol?
Mm-hmm.